Good morning everyone, my name is Lu Xueyi. Today I will be presenting the SRC International case, which stands as one of the most significant corruption scandals in Malaysia history. Over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I will take you through several key aspects of this case. The background of SRC International, the major event that unfolded, the ethical and integrity issue involved, Malaysia anti-corruption framework, the judicial process, and finally, the lesson we can learn from this landmark case. By the end of this session, I hope you not only understand what happened but also why this case is crucial in terms of leadership, governance, and ethical accountabilities. Next, integrity and anti-corruption are fundamental to any government or institution. When corruption occurs, it erodes public trust and undermines the proper functioning of a country. The SRC International case is connected to the broader 1MDB scandal and involved the misuse of 42 millions. What makes this case particularly significant is that it led to the conviction of a former Malaysian Prime Minister, an unprecedented event in our national history. So, what is certainly a legal case, it also offers deep insight into leadership, governance, and the ethical responsibility of those in power. SRC International was established in 2011 under 1MDB with the stated goal of investing in the energy sector. Just a year later, SRC was placed directly under the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, putting it under the control of the Finance Minister at the time, Najib Razak. SRC received 4 billion in loan from KWAP, the Retirement Fund. These funds were intended from energy investment project. However, investigation revealed that the money was diverted into multiple accounts and used for purposes unrelated to the SRC objective. This showed us early on that when oversight is weak, even significant financial flow means for public benefit can be misused. So let me give you a brief timeline of the major events. Between 2011 and 2015, SRC received 4 billion, but a large portion of this funding was misappropriated. In 2015, the Wall Street Journal exposed suspicious money transfer linked to Najib's personal account, triggering investigation by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MSCC). After the 2018 general election, Najib was formally charged with multiple crimes, including abuse of power and money laundering. In 2020, he was found guilty in the High Court, and the Federal Court upheld the conviction in 2022. This timeline highlights how corruption can persist for years when oversight is weak and power is concentrated in the hands of a few. Ethical and integrity breaches. At the core of the SRC case are serious breaches of ethical duty. Abuse of power. Najib held multiple infusion roles: Prime Minister, Finance Minister, and Overseers of SRC. Using this position for personal gain violated fundamental principle of integrity. Lack of transparency. Large sum of money was transferred quietly without proper auditing of public disclosure. Conflict of interest. Political influence interface with decision making in a government-linked company. In short, The latter invoke failed to prioritize the public interest from an ethical standpoint. This case reminds us that integrity is not just about following the law. It's also doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Malaysia anti-corruption framework. On paper, Malaysia has a robust anti-corruption framework. The MSCC empower investigation into corruption. The Whistleblower Protection Act encourages reporting of wrongdoing. The National Anti-Corruption Plan (NSCP) emphasizes preventive measures. However, the SRC case demonstrates that law alone are insufficient. Informants and independent and crucial when top leaders are implicated. Institutions can be pressured or delayed, weakening the effectiveness of this framework. In this sense, SRC highlight gaps in implementation rather than in legislation. Judicial process and court verdict. The court proceeding in this case were lengthy and complex. Najib faced charge of criminals, breach of trust, money laundering, and abuse of power. The prosecution present detailed financial records, witness testimonies, and a clear paper trail of funds moving into Najib's personal account. Najib claimed ignorance, but the court found the evidence credible, consistent, and compelling. In July 2020, the High Court found him guilty, and in 2022, the Federal Court upheld this verdict. This historic ruling proved that even the highest political figures are not above the law when institutions function independently. Implication and lesson learned. The SRC case has wide-ranging implications. Political, it shifts public perception of the government and contribute to major political change in 2018 general election. Economic, corruption cases and undermines investor confidence and harm Malaysian international reputation. While 42 million is not enormous compared to the total fund involved in one NDB, the symbolic impact was huge. Social public awareness of corruption increased, with citizens demanding stronger governance and accountabilities. The overarching lesson is that corruption has far-reaching consequences: financial, political, and social. So based on the lesson from SRC, several steps are strengthen integrity in Malaysia and ensure that MSCC is fully independent, free from political influence. Strengthen governance in government-linked companies through independent boards, transparent audit and risk management system. Foster a culture of ethical leadership. Law alone cannot prevent corruption. Improve whistleblower protection so individuals can safely report wrongdoing. If implemented properly, this measure can prevent another SRC-type scandal from occurring. So in conclusion, the SRC international case is more than just a corruption scandal. It's just a turning point for Malaysia, highlighting the importance of integrity, transparency, and accountabilities. While it exposed weakness in enforcement, it also demonstrated that the legal system can work when institutions act independently. Moving forward, cultivating ethical leadership and strong governance will be essential to building a trustworthy and stable nation. Okay, so last but not least, thank you for your attention. I hope this presentation has given you a clearest understanding of the SRC international case, not just as a legal matter, but as a lesson in leadership, ethics, and governance. Thank you.